Hello and very warm welcome to this special podcast series called Digital Mandate, organized by B2B, the Founder Media. This is one of the podcast series where we host leaders from across different industry. We try to understand what they are doing. We try to understand their leadership skills and styles and how technology is helping them. And I'm joined by today Mr. Divaker Jha, Head of Product and Organizational Excellence at Spandana Sphoorty. It's a financial organization. Mr. Jha, thank you so much for taking out time for this podcast. Let me begin by asking you, this is the era where product innovation is the core to any business development, and product innovation has become a kind of fundamental. Ultimately, all the thing in the company revolve around product innovation, what you are building, and therefore the role of somebody who is taking of the product becomes really important, because you are not only building but you are also putting the strategy in place. You are also putting a lot of a thing, and then there are other people who takes away, sell, and do a lot of customer servicing. What are the innovation you are observing in this area, especially from a microfinance and NBFC perspective?
Good afternoon. So I represent Spandana Spoorthy, which is a microfinance company. Um, and yes, this company has been into existence for the last 25 years, and we have grown big in terms of AUM. We have just crossed 10,000 crores, and yes, there have been increasing trends, especially post COVID, where we have transitions lot many in terms of innovation, not only
Hmm.
in processes
Right.
but in terms of products also.
Right.
I mean, we have lot many products ranging from microfinance product, and then
Hmm.
we have variants of microfinance products,
Right.
be it a top-up loan, be it a cross-sell loan, be it
Hmm.
a wash-based lending, which is a water-based lending. And with these products innovations, and there are processes, because in microfinance the way products are designed,
Right.
the processes follows them.
Right.
The processes have to be very stringent,
Absolutely.
while you implement those on the grounds.
Yes.
So products and processes go hand in hand. And
Absolutely.
more importantly, from product innovation, the
Hmm.
processes which you define, the guidelines
Yes.
which you define,
Right.
the guidelines which have to be implemented by your field feet on streets,
Yes.
are very very critical, very very important to
Right.
follow.
Right.
So right from digital based disbursements,
Hmm.
that has been a remarkable
Right.
presence which we have seen over the past couple of years.
Hmm.
In fact, post COVID,
Hmm.
plus the repayment which usually were of cash based
Right.
repayments, have those are transitioning to a good level of
Right.
levels where few partners in the industries have reached to a level of 10, 15%, 20% also.
Right. Right.
And in terms of cash management, we have lot many innovations bringing
Hmm.
into microfinance,
Right.
where we have partnerships, we have collaborations, where
Hmm.
customers cash are
Right.
picked up midway en
Hmm.
route, so that
Right.
there is a less risk mitigation entirely in the microfinance space.
Right. Right.
Yes, and obviously with a lot of processes inbuilt, because
Hmm.
right from the onboarding journey, when we speak about
Hmm.
the entire disbursement journey, right from onboarding till sanctioning till underwriting
Right.
and to disbursement, has been digitized.
Absolutely.
Of late, many of the partners which are into microfinance,
Hmm.
or those have turned into SFBs,
Hmm.
small finance banks,
Right.
have adopted this approach, digital
Hmm.
approach, where the entire journey from onboarding to disbursement has completely digitized. Let's say,
Right.
for example, the OCR based data
Yes.
entry
Hmm.
of OCR base, where a loan officer or the staff which is there on the field, he doesn't have to manually punch the
Right.
entire
Right.
application.
Right. Right.
He only has to scan the PAN card or the
Yes.
Aadhaar, whichever he's using it for onboarding customer, and then all the data entry are auto populated on the
Right.
device.
Right. Right.
So adoption of digital transformations
Hmm.
have
Hmm.
become a really a has really become
Right.
a good adoption in microfinance
Yes.
industry.
No, you're absolutely right. Especially on the part that the digital has become an integral, and it has completely minimized some of the touch point, but at the same time enable both the salesperson as well as the customer in terms of achieving the combined growth. Actually, now that brings me to the other question, which is what we are actually seeing, that there are a lot of experiment happening with the high-end automation technology. by organization of different sizes, be the large bank, NBFC, microfinance companies. And these experiment is quite easy for a cloud native companies because you can actually, you are in cloud, you understand Kubernetes, microservice, everything can be done quite easily. How do you look at, AI, machine learning, or this large language model, or maybe a smaller model built based on your own data? How these are going to fundamentally help and aid to what you have achieved so far in terms of the product innovation? Do you see some newer thing coming up now?
Yeah. I mean, I just gave an example of OCR, which is
Right.
a AI-driven
Yes.
solution.
Absolutely.
Absolutely AI-driven solution, which
Even OCR, we see a newer thing
newer
happening.
things, yeah,
Right.
newer versions coming up,
Yes.
with much clarity,
Yes.
with much faster, replication of the data on
Right.
the tablets or the mobile health device.
Yes.
Uh, and yes, apart from OCR, where there are a lot of adoptions in
Hmm.
terms of technology which we have done. Like,
Right.
as an industry, if I speak about
Hmm.
it, is whether it is e-sign, whether it
Hmm.
is e-KYC,
Right.
or whether it is the BRE based underwriting,
Right.
and the entire BRE, entire underwriting of
Right.
microfinance has gone uh, totally towards digitized. There is
Digitized.
no manual intervention of risk or credit or a
Right.
person where he has to read out
Hmm.
those numbers, or
Hmm.
probably get into the details of it, and then he will evaluate the computation part of it, and then ultimately the loan eligibility comes.
Right.
No, it is not happening. So I mean, as of now,
Yes.
all this is, it has been digitized. The tool, the BRE, which whatever the rules which we define there,
Hmm.
are able to compute the entire loan eligibility.
Right.
And
Right.
the diet, if you say, the
Hmm.
diet has minimized to 1 or maximum 2 days,
Right.
which used to be a case of 8-10 days
Right.
a
Right.
decade back.
Mhm.
So a lot of transformation in terms of OCR was one of the examples,
One
but
of the
yes, lot
example,
many
yes,
examples are there
absolutely.
in
You
microfinance.
also take care of the organizational excellence. I
Yeah.
mean, that is very integral, important along with the product innovation, because those are the fundamental things for the growth and a long-term project of any organization. So, what is incorporating in the organizational excellence? What are the things that you envisage and you do it?
Sure. So organizational excellence or operational excellence or process excellence,
Yes.
whatever you call it as, the
Right.
names are different.
Yes.
Some few people use center of excellence
Yes.
in
Yes.
most of the organization.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, when you say excellence,
The
there
best.
the importance of processes
Yes.
comes, the importance of guidelines comes,
Right.
the importance of approach, what you're going to uh, cascade down to the field team.
Right. Right.
The staff who is on feet, I mean the feet on the street, is very important. As I
Right.
said already,
Hmm.
product is one part, the innovation part of it,
Right.
you build it,
Right.
you pilot it out,
Right.
you train them out, and finally it is implemented.
Right.
But how it is being adopted,
Hmm.
whether it is the way it has been envisaged initially,
Hmm.
the way it has been implemented or not,
Right.
the way it has the technology adoption has gone the same way level which you initially envisaged.
Right. Right.
So processes or organizational excellence are very very critical
Critical.
point of view.
Right.
So excellence point of view, when how, what is the adoption
Right.
percentage,
Right.
how, what are we doing about in order to increase the adoption,
Yes.
how are we easing the life of loan officer or the
Right.
RMs which is there on the ground,
Mhm.
how are we giving the channels to the customers,
Right.
I mean the various channels,
Yes.
apart from product, the various
Yes.
channels to the customer, to view those, what is the EMI amount, what is
Right.
the outstanding amount,
Right.
what is my last paid amount,
Yes.
whether I have paid it or not paid it, how do I change my the mobile number which I have given initially.
Right.
So with adoption of, like,
Mhm.
you would be surprised to know that we have recently launched customer application.
Mhm.
Customer can visualize his her the loan repayment history,
Right.
what is the repayment schedule as a whole,
Right.
and what is the outstanding balance.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
plus, few players in the industry have also gone ahead with
Hmm.
adoption of, with integration of the payment channels in the
Right. Right. Right.
mobile app.
Right, right. No, these are absolutely wonderful thing, and you are absolutely right, because ultimately you can create best of the product, you can have the best of the technology, but ultimately internally it is the employee or the ground worker who is going to implement it, use it, and for customer, it is all about how customer is adopting it.
True.
So, as somebody who is in the leadership role, How do you look at, once the product is built, how do you motivate? Because the change management in any organization of any size is the biggest challenge. Or initially, you will have a lot of hiccup, or maybe there will be a people who might not be really attracted to a new application, but once they start using it for down the line, let's say for a couple of months, they become pro and
Yeah.
they start liking. But initially, there is a lot of hiccup. There are a lot of resistance. So how do you address that? How do you motivate that?
So one of the most adopted ways which I have learned over the years and which
Right.
I am adopting of late is, whenever we build product or any kind of processes which has to be replicated or probably implemented in the field, please take them
On board. Right.
beforehand. And whatever feedback, whatever inputs they are able to give initially,
Right.
it will help you in a longer run.
Right.
Even if you do not take those inputs, feedbacks initially, or do not consider them initially,
Right.
but definitely, he would feel that my inputs and feedbacks were taken
Right.
into confidence, and probably even if one input you considered
Right.
in the implementation part, there you won the half race.
Yes, yes.
So
they feel empowered.
yeah,
Actually.
they feel empowered right from
Right.
initial.
Right.
Even if my feedback, even what we have implemented of late is in
Right.
the formation or the creation of the focus group.
Right.
In the focus group, not only from the people from designing perspective, which
Right.
is probably
Yes.
from product or excellence perspective, but there are people who are from sales profile, who are from
Right.
business
Right.
profile,
Right.
who are from operations profile,
Right.
and from each hierarchy, every hierarchy, whether it is loan
Right.
officer,
Right.
whether it is regional manager or zonal manager. So there we have created a focus group where we take all the feedback initially. How do we plan it, implement it?
Right.
What are the fields which we have to create it initially?
Right. Right.
What are the checks and validations, checks and balances which you have to
Right.
create before processing this approach?
Right. That means if let's say a product guy or maybe a design guy or a tech guy who is building an application, let's say if he spent a time at the branch,
Yeah.
maybe in the field, so it will have a huge a great feedback for him, and possibly he can take it back and think about from a customer perspective how customer is entering to a branch, or let's say is coming to your application, what are some of the areas they are clicking first. So you're absolutely right. Before I let you go, let me ask you, from product innovation perspective, you earlier mentioned there are a lot of technology adoption happening. OCR is one of them, then AI is coming. What are one or two things that you feel down the line, maybe in a year or two, is going to have far-reaching impact?
The as you're aware, microfinance is going through a turmoil
Right.
phase, maybe from temporarily, but yes, the core problem was how do we evaluate, how do
Right.
we compute the
Right.
household income
Yes.
in a right way.
Mhm.
I mean, sorry to say, we do not have the full-fledged system,
Right.
full-fledged strengthful system where we can compute the household income
Right.
correctly. So probably this is going to be a key change over a period of time, probably uh, in microfinance sector domain,
Right.
where this particular implementation of this tool can play a long playing field. In fact, long win for us, where we can easily compute, where we can easily gather or
Right.
integrate a lot of many data points, not only from credit bureau perspective,
Right.
lot many other alternate data consideration and the
Right.
computation of it, so that we get the household income in a proper way.
Right. Right.
So that is going to be a good, in fact, a key change in
Yes.
time to come.
Right. Mr. Jha, thank you so much for taking your time for this podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.